So the Bengals are going 1-17.
We have now the best segment on any football talk or podcast. The people can see you're an idiot.
Probably still tell I'm salty about it, but I'll just move on.
They're going to the Super Bowl!
Welcome to Morning Wood. My name is Jason. Most people know me as Jay Biggs. The guy to my right, your left, his name's Matt. His family calls him Matthew. I call him Matt. You can call him whatever you want. This is Morning Wood. We talk about sports. It's NFL season.
It's NFL season, baby.
And as of August 28th, when we are recording this video, we have some news. Top of the morning news around the NFL. Three-time Pro Bowler, All-Pro wide receiver CeeDee Lamb agrees to a 4-year, $136 million extension with the Dallas Cowboys. 100 M's guaranteed, making him the second highest paid non-QB in the NFL, right behind another wide receiver, Justin Jefferson. Also, all 53-man rosters are set for the season. Each team cut around 35 to 40 guys who will not be on an NFL roster. Congrats to the guys who did make the team. To the guys who didn't, show out in the practice squad. Get them next year. Moving on, Mike Tomlin officially announces Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
I agree with that decision as
yes.
well. I think everybody does.
I think there was a little bit of a QB battle during training camp preseason against with Justin Fields, but as everyone expected, Russell Wilson will be the starting quarterback. Dalvin Cook signs with the Cowboys today. Per his agency, he will be united with Ezekiel Elliott in the Cowboys' backfield. In my opinion, I think that's a good pickup for the Cowboys. I'm probably getting him super cheap. I have no idea what they're paying him, but for RB2, you get Dalvin Cook behind Zeke. I like that pickup for them.
That's a great pickup.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's just like that's great depth. That's a good 1-2 punch for them. They probably need that kind of lessen the load on Zeke maybe throughout the season. So I like that a lot from Dallas. I think that's a great pickup.
I agree. Some notable names of guys who are going to miss the start of the season. The biggest name, Nick Chubb, will start the season on the physically unable to perform list and miss at least 4 games. That's huge. Probably the biggest piece of the all season, biggest injury news of the all season. Yeah. The Browns, that's a huge missing piece for the Browns. Odell will also start the season on the PUP list in Miami due to procedure he had in the offseason. They kind of knew he might not be able to start the season. So not really new news, but he will miss at least 4 games. And then Darren Bland, the cornerback for the Cowboys, will also miss 6 to 8 weeks with foot surgery, which is a miss for them. I think he had like 6 or 7 interceptions to start the season last year in like the first 7 games, something crazy. But that is the most recent news out of the NFL for the past couple of days.
Yep, good stuff, good stuff. I'm going to take us into our new segment. We're going to be doing every week during the NFL season, probably every episode. And in my opinion, we have now the best segment on any football talk or podcast or anything football related. We're going into Antonio Brown tweet of the day. Hashtag
Antonio Brown.
Who on social media, man? This is about us, nobody else, man.
DM of the day. It is from Jack. Jack DMs AB. Hey, AB, I'll be shocked if you even see this, but do I have permission to write your name in this year's upcoming presidential election? After all, you do fulfill the requirements of the job. Let me know what you think, Jack. Shout out to Jack for this. I personally will be voting AB.
I'm now voting Antonio Brown as well.
If you're watching this,
he's having 3 votes at least.
Vote AB this year. Hashtag
I'm running him in.
CTESPN will be the president of the United States come November. So coming up next, we're going to get into our power rankings. Jay, if you want to start us off.
Starting in the 10 spot, I have the Cleveland Browns rounding out my list at the 10 spot.
I like that. A little division team for us. In my 10 spot, I have the Green Bay Packers led by Jordan Love.
J Love.
J-Love.
In my 9 spot, I have the Dallas Cowboys, Dak Prescott. CD Lamb, new contract. We'll see how it ends up.
Yeah, I like Dallas this year. I think they're going to be a solid team. They didn't crack my top 10. In my 9 spot, I actually have the Cincinnati Bengals, led by Slim Shady himself, coming back this
It's
year.
going to be hard to be 9th when they go 0-17. But I believe in you.
I wouldn't hate that as a Steeler fan. I would not hate that at all.
Coming in my 8 spot, I actually have the Packers at 8. I'm pretty high on Jordan Love. I love Josh Jacobs this year. I think he's going to be a stud. I like the Packers at 8.
Yeah, I like them a lot too. In my 8 spot, I'm going with the Buffalo Bills, led by Josh Allen and them boys. I like them this year, and I have them sitting in the 8th spot.
Nice. I actually don't have the Bills in my top 10. I think they have a little bit of a down year. But in the 7th spot, I have the Eagles, probably a little bit lower than people expect. But I think missing Jason Kelsey and not being able to successfully push their way to 12 wins or 13 wins, I have them down a little bit.
Yeah, I can see the Eagles kind of having a little bit of a down year as well. In my 7th spot, I got them boys from South Florida. I got the Dolphins in the 7th spot. Like them a lot, like their coach a lot. I like Mike and what he's done there. So I got the Dolphins in the 7th.
You have the Dolphins in the 7th. I have them in the 6th. Easy enough. Pretty close.
Very close. For my 6th team, probably maybe the most fun watch this year, I got the Houston Texans, led by C.J. Stroud and Will Anderson, both offense and defensive rookie of the years last year. So excited to watch them play ball.
You have him in their 6. I have him in my 5. So that works
going
out. I mean, we're going
one after the next. Okay, in my 5 spot, I actually do have the Philadelphia Eagles. I like them still. I like the pickup with Saquon. I still love Jalen Hurts, that defense. In a bit of a weaker division, only got to worry about the Cowboys. That's why I still have them top 5 again. I don't think they'll be in the Super Bowl or anything, but I do have them in the 5th spot.
At my number 4, I have the Detroit Lions. High expectations for a Lions team that we've seen probably in my lifetime, maybe.
Yeah.
But I still have the Lions at 4. I like them. Jared Goff, Dan Campbell will get the boys right.
Yeah, I agree. I'm really high on the Lions as well this year, just because it's been forever. They deserve something. In my 4th spot, I actually have your team, Baltimore. This might actually be a little bit high for people, or I should say low, not being in the top 3, but still like Lamar. Love the coaching staff. Y'all's defense is probably going to be great this year. So top 4 is still really good. Definitely a Super Bowl contender.
In my 3, I have the 49ers. Little controversy right now with the Brandon Ayuk situation. I think today he walked off practice.
Yeah.
Maybe some issues inside the camp, but they're still going to be solid. Still have a top 5 defense, and Brock Purdy will game manage their way to 13 wins.
Yeah, I agree with that. I actually have the Lions, so we flipped where you had them and I had them, but I have the Lions at 3. Again, high on the Lions. I really think they're going to be a great team this year, and another Super Bowl contender. I think my top 4 are going to be Super Bowl contenders this year. So Detroit at 3.
I have my Ravens in the 2 spot. High expectations. I mean, we pretty much always have high expectations, but we always really kind of crush it in the regular season and then lose in the playoffs at some point. But for the regular season, I believe we're the second best team in the NFL.
Yeah, no, y'all are going to be a problem for a lot of teams this year again. In my 2, I think this is the best probably personnel and roster in the league. I have San Francisco, led by McCaffrey and Fred Warner and them boys. It's hard to find a better team than this. And defense, that defense is ferocious out there in San Francisco, and they're going to win a lot of games. So I got them at 2.
In my top spot, I have the defending Super Bowl champs back-to-back, just to give them their respect. I'm putting the Chiefs at number 1.
Yeah, I have them there as well until they get knocked off and stop this run that they're having. Big Andy Reid, Walrus Man, and Pat Mahomes going to stay in the 1 spot for me. I will get into an outlook on my team. Obviously, I'm repping my team today, and he is as well. Fun fact, Steelers fan, Ravens fan, so a little rivalry we have as a friendship, which I like. But overall, just a quick outlook on the Steelers, in my opinion, for any Steelers fans as well. Obviously, the news today, Russ is definitely an upgrade at quarterback after you dealt with Mitch Trubisky and Kenny throw Pickett's interceptions all day.
Kenny two gloves.
Kenny, by the way, I tweeted this when we drafted him, and I said that he would become the worst draft pick I've seen since watching my team, and I was right. Anyway, but Russ is definitely an upgrade. I wish we would have got him a little bit earlier, maybe like 3 years ago when there was rumors about us getting him or Deshaun Watson. But overall, definitely an upgrade at quarterback, which is what we need, especially in the AFC. There's a ton of great quarterbacks, so you got to have one to compete. I really like our roster as a whole. I'm just not a fan of the coaching staff. Top to bottom, it's a little rough. Not the biggest fan of Mike Tomlin since 2010-ish. It's been a rough sled. I know we win a lot of games
for 14 years.
Literally, it's been awful. Like, I know we win a lot of games. It's great. I know Steeler fans love that. We're not a losing team, I guess. But when you constantly go 9 and whatever 8-8, it's not fun when you get bounced in the first round and get a horrible pick. I wouldn't say horrible, but mid to late. It's not very fun. So. But to probably go over the schedule a little bit, the schedule in the beginning of the season, we have a favorable schedule, but towards the back end, we are looking at a very rough slate of games. We play a lot of good quarterbacks in the last 6 to 8 games, play a lot of top tier quarterbacks. So I have a strong feeling we're going to go 9-8 again, not have a losing season, keep our head coach around, and, pick anywhere from 16th to 25th again. So if you're a Steeler fan, be sure for the same old, which is good. That's pretty much my overall take on the Steelers this year. I don't really see too much of a difference in our outcome. What's been the same thing in this, Twilight Zone episode that we've had. But that's my breakdown of my team, and we will get into week 1.
I have a quick question for you about the Steelers.
Yes, go ahead.
If you guys start 2-3, 2-4, you think Tomlin goes to Justin Fields as a quarterback?
That's actually a really good question. I don't know, because it'll be kind of similar to the Mitch and Kenny situation a little bit. I don't see Russ doing that. Again, we have a favorable schedule in the beginning of the year, so I don't know if we will get to that point. But if we do, I don't think we have anything to really play for. We're not winning a Super Bowl this year. So, I don't mind seeing the kid get playing time. That's why we got him. That's why we got both of these guys, really. But I think he would make that decision, yeah. I think Tomlin would definitely choose Fields in that situation. But we'll see when that time gets there. I like having both of them. Again, I don't think they're going to, shock anybody in the MVP voting this year. But I do like having the options, but to answer that question, yeah, I think if we do start a little rough, he would definitely switch to Fields. Yeah.
Sweet. How about we get into our week 1 picks for the first week of the NFL season? It's finally here. We get to make our game picks for week 1.
I'm ready.
Starting with a banger on Thursday, the Ravens go to the Chiefs. Like we saw last year, they start the season off because they won the Super Bowl again.
For this game, this has got to be, top 5 games of the year so far scheduled at least. Great game. I'm going to take, unfortunately for you, but I'm going to go with Mahomes at home in the season opener. Again, until they lose or get knocked off the mountaintop, they will remain there for me. Who do you have winning?
I'm going to take the Ravens because I'm a Ravens fan, but I think we can actually win the game. So I'm excited for that game. It's going to be fun. I'm going to break that down a little bit later.
Yeah, I definitely think y'all can win that game too. I think it'll be good.
And then the first week, we actually have a Friday game. The Packers play the Eagles in, I believe, the first NFL game in, I don't know if it's South America. I think we played in Mexico before, but the first game in Brazil. Packers, Eagles.
Definitely another great game, week one. Excited for that. Not really like a home field advantage, so it's a bit of a toss up, really. Two really good teams. I think um, this is a good like to see how Jordan Love's going to play after getting that contract. I think this is a big game for him. I do have Philly winning this opener. Let's see what you have to say about that one.
Yeah, I'm actually on the other side. I like the Packers in this one. I think it's huge that this game isn't in Philly because Philly has a really good home field advantage, but I think that works out in the Packers' favor. And Philly kind of struggled stopping the run last year, and I'll keep saying Josh Jacobs' name all season long because I'm super high on him.
Yeah,
I think he runs for over 100 yards in this game.
I agree with that. A bit of a like a coin toss game, really. I like both of those teams, but I do have Philly in that one, and you have Green Bay. I like that. The next game we're going to go to is my team goes to Atlanta week one. I actually do like Pittsburgh in this one. I think this will be a little bit of a rough game, an NFC opponent, a little bit unfamiliar with kind of the new look of the Falcons. We haven't played them in a while, but I do have us coming out on top. I think this might be a little bit of a low-scoring game as well.
Arthur Smith revenge game.
Could be that.
I actually have the Falcons in this one. I'm riding with Kirk O'Chains in his first game as a Falcon. I mean, they got weapons. They like Drake London going to be he almost had 1,000 yards with Desmond Ridder as his quarterback last year. Yeah. I like Drake London to have a solid year. Bijan Robinson, stud. Kyle Pitts might actually
catch the ball this year.
Hopefully, we'll see. But I like the Falcons in the home opener for them.
Yeah, another decent game, another good matchup. All right, next one we have Arizona goes to Buffalo. I'm going to keep this short. I have Buffalo winning this probably pretty convincingly. Tough place to start this season for Arizona.
The first one we agree on. I also have the Bills in that one.
Yeah, that's pretty easy.
Moving on to Tennessee goes to Chicago and plays Caleb Williams and the Bears.
Interesting game. The rookie gets his little debut here. I like Tennessee. I definitely like where they're moving in the direction that they're going. I actually have Tennessee winning this. I think this will be a close game. Interested, kind of a fun watch. Young teams, but I do have Tennessee on the winning end of this one.
I also have Tennessee. I think this is like a game that's like a last game's tied or there's a last second field goal that wins either way. It feels like that type of game, but I also have the Titans winning.
Yeah. Next matchup, we got New England is going to Cincinnati. That is a rough week one start. We got Slim Shady back, led Bengals, and I'm going with Cincy on this one in another game that I don't think is relatively close.
Yeah, I didn't realize the Patriots played the Bengals, so I think the Bengals are going to go 1-16 this year. They might get this one. I have the Bengals winning.
Not the Bengals.
Next, we have the Texans and CJ Stroud.
CJ Stroud.
To the Colts and Anthony Richardson. Two young electric quarterbacks. I have the Texans in this one. I just love what the Texans are doing on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, I agree. Texans showed us last year that they're not to be overlooked or messed around with, and I think everybody's on notice now. But I do agree. I do have Houston winning this one. Fun game though, like you said. Good young quarterback matchup.
Moving on to a Florida matchup. The Jags take a short trip to, not too short. I guess Florida's kind of a big state, but to Miami.
I have Miami winning this one, but I think this is going to be a very close game, kind of like what you said about the Bears game. I think this is like a last-minute kind of field goal, maybe touchdown, or a big play that kind of seals the deal, but I do like Miami in this one slightly.
I am also picking Miami in this one. I just love Mike Macdonald as a head coach. I think his offensive mind is crazy. That offense is going to be too. I don't think the Jags can outscore the Dolphins.
Yeah, I agree with that. Next game, we have probably the second best game of the weekend here. We have Carolina going to New Orleans. Keep this one short because I really am not interested in it. I got New Orleans winning this. I don't think.
Yeah, I have New Orleans as well.
I don't think Carolina's winning too many games this year. So we're moving on quickly to Minnesota traveling to New York to take on Danny Dimes and the Giants. I have Minnesota in this one, led by Sam Darnold.
Actually, I'm taking the Giants at home again
Wow.
in this one. I like the Giants. I don't know what I like about them, but in this game, like I like them. You know,
I don't
Malik
know.
Neighbors. Oh, news I just saw probably 2 hours ago. The Giants unretired the number 1 jersey, so Malik Neighbors could wear it.
How about that?
So
That's interesting. Who the heck wore number 1 for the
Um,
Giants?
it was it's a super old guy. I think Ray Flaherty or something like that. Hold on, let me double check that.
He probably played when life was black
Yeah,
and
he had
white.
a leather helmet on. But yeah, Ray Flaherty.
Ray
Um,
Flaherty.
he was actually the first professional football player to have his number retired.
Yeah, this guy.
So the
broke it.
Giants unretired that number for
This guy.
Malik Neighbors, a rookie wide receiver.
That's
So,
insane.
That's kind of crazy.
That's actually for a rookie receiver.
But yeah, Malik Neighbors better have 3 touchdowns in that game if he wants to live up to those expectations.
I mean, he's got to compete with a guy that rode a dinosaur to the office.
Yeah.
So, all right, moving on. We got the Vegas Raiders going to one of my favorite teams to watch this year, the Chargers. I have the Chargers in this one. Think it'll be a decent game, but I like Justin Herbert. I like the new coach for the Chargers. I have them winning this one.
See, Gardner Minshew's the starter for the Raiders, so that scares me a little bit. But I do have the Chargers in this one.
Yeah, I think that'll be an interesting game. We'll see how that Raiders team looks with him. But
We
yeah.
will. Moving on to the Broncos, go to the 12th man in Seattle.
Yeah, this is a tough week 1 for Bo Nix. It's much
Not
different than
easy.
college. Much different than college. That is a rough atmosphere to play in. I'm going to take. He's fine. I'm taking.
He's
the
played in
12th
Death
man.
Valley, I'm sure, at some point in his 20-year college career.
Yeah, that's true. The 47-year-old. I have the Seahawks winning this one. Hashtag 12th man. I like them in this one a lot.
I also have the Seahawks as well in this one.
Yeah.
Moving on to the Browns. The Cowboys go to the Cleveland Browns. I have the Browns in this one. I wouldn't say I'm high on the Browns just because they're in our division, but the Browns defense is always going to be solid. Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
And then Deshaun Watson. Missing Nick Chubb is huge for them for the first 4 weeks. But I still am picking the Browns against the Cowboys in this one.
No, I agree. I mean, personnel wise, Browns have to be up there as some of the best, rosters. Definitely in the AFC at least. That's why I agree with your pick, and I'm going with the Cleveland Browns as well.
Browns.
I'm going with them as well. I like them. I think it's a close game. That's actually a really good week 1 matchup, but I like Cleveland in that one as well.
Then we go back to Florida. The Commanders. We are Commanders. Go to the Bucks and Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
How you feeling about this one?
I think this is a bit of a I'm probably not going to watch it type game, so I'm going to make it quick. I'm going with the Bucks on this one, and yeah, that's really all I'm going to talk about it.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Bucks as well. Jaden Daniels going on the road to the Bucks is it's not a horrible place to go play, but rookie quarterback on the road week 1. Baker Mayfield just kind of got paid a little bit. We'll see how he shows up. But I got the Bucks as well.
Yeah. We're moving on to a great NFC matchup here. Definitely probably a playoff preview. We got the Rams going to Detroit. I think it's a battle. I think this is going to be a great game, a test to see how these teams are going to look. And I do have the Lions pulling out this one. Primetime game.
Sunday Night Football, baby.
I'm excited for that
I actually
one.
have the Rams in this one. I like Matt Stafford going back to Detroit and getting a big win on Sunday Night Football in front of his old home.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great game. And then people can freak out about how the Lions are probably not going to make the playoffs after week 1, and then they'll just win 4 straight games.
Yeah, like that game a lot, like that matchup. And lastly, but not least, we got the Jets going to, again, a rough week 1 game for the Jets. I do like the Jets. However, I like San Francisco a bit more. So I'm going with San Francisco on this one. Should be a great game. A lot of good games week 1, man. Jeez Louise. But
this is a great game for Monday night. Surprisingly, they don't have like the 2 games on Monday night. I think it's because they had the Brazil game on Friday.
Yeah,
But
probably.
usually start with the 2 Monday night games, which I always like. But I actually like the Jets in this one going to San Francisco. I think that Jets defense is serious. I think San Francisco has some trouble scoring some points, and then Aaron Rodgers he knows how to win football games. So
He does.
I like the Jets.
Yeah.
Nice.
Overall,
That's exciting. I
yeah.
like NFL's back. We get to pick games every week, and we'll keep track of our records throughout the season and see how we go. Have a little competition throughout the season.
Love that. Love that.
Let's move on to my matchup or our matchup of the week, which is the season opener. Ravens, my Ravens go to the Chiefs. Let's dive deeper into this one. The reigning Super Bowl champs open up the season at home against my Baltimore Ravens, a rematch of the AFC Championship, which I was actually in attendance for to go home crying last season. But we do get to see some new players for both teams. Derrick Henry, most notably, will make his Ravens debut, which I'm excited to see how this running game develops as the season goes on. In the AFC Championship last year against the Chiefs, the Ravens, the team that led the league in rushing yards, only had 8 rushing attempts by a running back in that game. Too little, too late, but hopefully they learn from their mistakes in the season opener. Run the football. We should run the football when they can't stop it. We should run it. I mean, it's a passing league now, but the Ravens have kept the running aspect of football alive. We do. That's the best thing that we do. So in the most important game of the season, we didn't do that. You can probably still tell I'm salty about it, but I'll just move on. The Ravens have some O-line question marks. We have 3 new starters expected to start on the O-line. And some sad news. Ravens O-line coach Joe D'Alessandro's passed away August 25th, which is 3 days ago from when we're recording this. So a lot of new pieces and that emotional aspect of all of it. The Ravens dedicated the season to Coach D and then Jacoby Jones as well, who passed away in the offseason. So we have a lot of emotion going on in our team right now. So we'll see how we put it together. The Chiefs did lose their first game of the season last year to the Lions after winning the Super Bowl. History repeats itself. I think that's going to happen again.
Yeah, I'm excited for that game. Again, definitely one of the better games of the season, especially first game of the season. That's a great way to kick off the NFL season. Great way to break that down for us. Jay, we are going to break down our award winners, our preseason award winners, who we think is going to take home the accolades at the end of the year. If we want to start, I'll go first with my MVP. Not really much of a shock, but I'm going to go, I think Mahomes wins it yet again. I think the Chiefs they're just them. I don't know. They're like New England.
He won in 2022, I believe, right? Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Yeah. I'm going to go with the rookie of the year from last year to win the MVP, CJ Stroud. He's got weapons everywhere. He can definitely put up the numbers. He's got to put up the wins behind that to back it up. So I like CJ Stroud.
Yeah, crazy start to the career would be a offensive rookie of the year, and then MVP. That would be definitely up there. For speaking of offensive player of the year, I'm going to go with. I think he's just going to go back to back. I'm going McCaffrey on this one. I think when healthy, arguably the most explosive and useful offensive talent in the league by far. So I'm going with McCaffrey. Yeah.
Great pick, obviously. I'm going with another non-QB, probably the second guy you'd think of outside of McCaffrey is a Tyreek Hill. He's searching for that 2,000-yard receiving season, and I know he's hunting for it this year.
Definitely capable. Defense of player of the year, I'm going with a little homer pick, but in my opinion, probably the best defensive player in the league right now and probably the last 3 years. But I'm going with TJ Watt.
I'm also going with TJ Watt. I think he definitely deserved it last year over Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
So I feel like he always has a chip on his shoulder no matter what. So I think he'll show up this year.
Yeah, I agree. Keeping it with the offense here, we're going to go with offensive rookie of the year. I have the receiver out of Ohio State, whose dad was doing it back in the day. I got Marvin Harrison Jr. for Arizona. I think that is a huge connection help for that offense, and excited to watch him. And I think he's going to do big things even as a rookie this year.
I'm going with the favorite, number 1 overall draft pick last year, Caleb Williams on the Bears. I just think he's going to be far and away the best rookie quarterback this year. So I'm just going with Caleb Williams.
Yeah, definitely some high expectations, especially after good looks in the preseason. For defense rookie of the year on the other side of the ball, I'm going with Byron Murphy II, the D tackle for Seattle. I think that'll be the first D tackle to win defense rookie of the year, since Aaron Donald. So looking for big things from him this year.
I'm going with a little homer pick for defensive rookie of the year, Nate Wiggins, cornerback out of Clemson. From what we've seen so far in training camp and preseason, he is lockdown clamp season.
Yeah.
So I like Nate Wiggins a lot this year. Kind of underrated pick for defensive rookie of the year.
Yeah. Another piece to a good defense. Comeback player of the year. I got Slim Shady, Joe Burrow. I think he's going to lead the Bengals back to the playoffs and maybe even make a good run again. I like Joe Burrow as comeback player of the year.
Yeah, my comeback player of the year after taking 3 snaps last season is Aaron Rodgers. After spraining that Achilles or tearing that Achilles, I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. He's looked really good from the videos that I've seen in training camp. He looks better than ever, so I like Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, great pick. And lastly, we are going to get into our coaches of the year. I actually have the man returning to the NFL off of a national championship win. I have Jim Harbaugh winning coach of the year. I think the Chargers are going to surprise some people this year after finishing last in the division.
Yeah, I have Raheem Morris, the Atlanta Falcons head coach. I think they really turn it around. They have the easiest schedule as well. I think they win like 10, 11 games. I think Raheem Morris turning that team around. He'll be at the top of the voting at the end of the season.
Yeah. Great list. We're going to tune into that at the end of the season, see how we did, see what we got right. And I'm going to actually get into what my division records and winners are going to look like. Another prediction. Break it down. I'm going to get into it in the AFC East. I have Miami in the 1 seed at 11-6. The Jets at 11-6, tied with them in the 2nd. Buffalo actually coming in 3rd. Buffalo fans, y'all have a rough schedule. Check out that schedule. It is rough. And then I have New England rounding out that division at a whopping 3-14.
It's generous.
That is probably generous. I had to give them a couple wins. I mean, they could literally go 0-17 for all I know. I mean, they are rough. AFC West, no shock. I have the Chiefs coming in at 15-2. Put that down in the books. Everybody remember. Jay did make a good point.
Who did they lose to?
They lost to San Francisco. And who else did they lose to? I forget who I had them losing to. I think I had them splitting with the Chargers.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I know Kansas City usually doesn't pick it up. Jay made this point, but they usually don't start figuring it out till late in the season. But I don't know. I like the Chiefs. I think they're going to beat a lot of teams, and they put it all together this year. But I have the Chargers coming in 2nd at 11-6. The Raiders at 6-11. Again, a little wonky of a season. Not sure what they're going to do. And then I have the Broncos at 5-12, coming in last in that division. The AFC North, our division. No shock here, but I do have the Ravens taking the 1st seed. I have them, first in the AFC North at 12-5. I then have them followed up by the Bengals at 10-7. The Browns at 9-8.
Right.
And then I think my Steelers finished last with a positive record. Never forget. 9-8. I think we tie with the Browns as well. Moving on to the AFC South, I have the Texans at 10-7. This is a bit of a tough division to kind of rank because I do like the Texans. I do like the Jags.
I think this is a toss-up division. I think this is going to be like week 18 is going to decide who wins this division.
Yeah, I agree. I think the Texans and Jags are very similar. I like them a lot this year, but nothing crazy on the win column. But I do have both of them at 10-7. I just have the Texans at the 1 and the Jags in the 2 spot. Then I have them followed up by the Colts. I think the Colts are definitely on the rise, improving. I think they're at 8-9 this year. And then I have the Titans at 6-11. I don't know how I feel about that. I think that's too rough. But they do have a rough schedule in a bit of a rough division, but we'll see how that goes. But I do have them at 6-11. Moving on to the NFC. The NFC East we're going to start with. I do have the Eagles at 12-5. I do like the Eagles. I think they're definitely one of the better teams in the NFC. They're followed up with the Cowboys at 9-8. Coming in 3 spot is the Commanders at 7-10, and then the Giants
doing the Giants dirty at 2-15.
I just don't. I don't see.
I haven't really looked at their schedule, but 2-15 is wild.
I mean, playing the Eagles twice and the Cowboys twice. I think that's 4
They
losses.
can split with the Cowboys.
They could. I just don't like Danny John. I don't like Danny Dimes at all.
There's dimes.
Nah, he doesn't.
Malik Neighbors. They unretired his jersey number.
I mean,
they're winning more than 2 games.
Unless they're running the wild.
He might be playing quarterback, actually.
I mean, you might have to. They might just cut Danny halfway through the season. We're going on to the NFC West. In my opinion, the best, if not one of the best divisions of football. I got the 49ers coming in at 14-3. I have the Seahawks coming in at 12-5, and the Rams followed up shortly
Seahawks
after.
is surprising.
Yeah,
12-5 is a good season.
Yeah, I think I like Seattle. I like their
The same record as the Ravens.
Yes, I agree. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. I went through their schedule. I mean, I think they can win anywhere from 10 to 12.
You're a Geno believer?
I think they're going to win 12
You
games
didn't
this year.
Geno.
I think it's like a Brock Purdy situation.
Game manager.
Yeah, a little bit more.
Wait, do you like Geno Smith? I like Pete Carroll. I like the defense. I like the running backs. I like the wide receivers.
I like Geno. I don't love him. I don't know. They're winning 12 games. Somebody book it. We'll come back to that.
Yeah.
They're shortly followed by the Rams at 11-6, and then unfortunately the Cardinals are sitting at 5-12. But those top 3 teams are definitely probably going to be playoff teams. We're moving on to the NFC North, led by the Detroit Lions at 13-4. Again, one of the better teams in the league. Excited to watch them. Packers coming in behind them at 10-7. Not a bad year, maybe a little bit low for some people, but still a good team at 10-7. They might even make noise in the playoffs. They did last year, and they were super close to beat the 49ers, so we'll see about that. Vikings coming in at 7-10, and then the Bears, while I like where they're going, it's tough to win in the league as a rookie, unless you're CJ Stroud. I do have them at 4-13. We'll see how that works. But lastly, and definitely least, because this division sucks, the NFC South, I have the Falcons at...
Put some respect on the Falcons.
You said they were going to win 10 games.
I know.
Yeah, I have them at 9-8. That's pretty close. That's close. 9-8's not bad. I
mean, they're sweeping the Saints and the Panthers.
They're sweeping the Panthers, not the Saints. They're split with the Saints. Trust. Falcons at 9-8. I got the Bucks coming in behind them at 7-10. Saints at 6-11, and the best team in the league, the Panthers, are somehow squeaking out 2 wins this year. That might even be pushing it, but I got them at 2-15. Those are my picks.
Put some respect on Bryce Young's name.
I like Bryce, but their team is trash, bro.
Yeah, I don't know anyone who's on their team.
Yeah, I don't know.
Adam
either.
Thielen.
I think they have tickets that they give away for fans to play on the weekend. I don't even know. But those are my picks for the division. Book them, sign it, and those are all hitting, and those are all right for sure. Moving on.
Literally looking into the future. If you look at all this, you're just looking at the future.
Yeah, I mean, those are all – actually, that's what's going to happen this year. So if you're a fan of any of those teams, just be ready for what I said. So
the Bengals are going 1-17. That's the one thing I disagree with. The Giants, I think, will win 4 or 5 games.
Okay, they're 2 more than what I said.
Yeah. Falcons are winning probably 11.
It went from 10 now to 11 because I put him at 9.
No, they're winning 11. Easiest schedule in the NFL. They're not losing 8 games with Kirk O'Chains at the helm.
Kirk might not even make it the whole year.
7-10 for the Vikings is, I don't know about Sammy Darnold. I haven't looked at their schedule, but the Vikings, I don't know. We'll see. I kind of like the Bears to not come in last.
Not go 4-13. If you take their schedule and you just do quarterback and coach matchup, it's hard to win as a rookie in the NFL. You know what's funny is I don't even think that 4-13 is really going to even be that bad. I think they're competing in a lot of those games. It's not just they're getting blown out or anything. Yeah.
All right, I like it.
Any other comments on?
Let's see. No.
I mean, maybe not the Ravens going 17-0.
Buffalo is at coming in third in the division. Still could make the playoffs, obviously, with a 10-7 record, but
They should. Again, their schedule is
Yeah.
rough. They have a rough schedule. I kind of gave them a couple of wins on that too that could go either way.
yeah.
Still a good team though. Like they're, Josh Allen, I mean, he probably will prove me wrong. They might end up winning 12, 13 wins. So you never know.
Cool. You want to move on? I have a sleeper team that I kind of like that you have going 6-11.
Yep. This is good. This is good.
Let's go. They actually went 6-11 last season as well. The Tennessee Titans are my sleeper team to watch out for. They made a ton of moves in the offseason. I don't think they're being talked about too much. Tony Pollard at running back. Calvin Ridley came over from the Jags. L'Jarius Sneed at corner with a trade from the Chiefs. They have pieces. They also have a wide receiver. You may have heard of him. His name's DeAndre Hopkins. He's pretty good at football.
He can catch the ball.
Yeah, they have a lot of pieces, but it really is going to come down to how Will Levis plays football. He showed some upside last year. He showed some downside as well, but he only started 8 games. He's had a full offseason solidified as the starting quarterback, which I think is really important if you're coming into the season knowing that you're the guy and not playing this QB juggle around the whole season. They're not going to roll over for anyone. I think they can give a lot of people trouble. I feel like going to Tennessee is not something that people are going to look forward to on their schedule.
Yeah,
but that's my sleeper team of the year. The Titans. I think they could win 8 games. I think they could win 8.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if we finish the season. I look back on that, where I had them and I'm completely wrong. I do like where they're going. There's a lot of teams where I like where they're going in the direction. I just think playing the Texans twice, playing the Jags twice.
It is a tough division. I agree. It's a tough division.
It's a really young division too. So there, a lot can happen in there. Young quarterbacks all around. I may be wrong. I'm probably leaning towards being wrong on the Titans, but I do like that pick. That is a good sleeper. I'm going to go with the Chargers as a sleeper team this year. In my opinion, 5-12 last season, obviously finishing last, but I think they bounced back. I have them at 10-7, I believe. Actually, I have them at 11-6. I think they bounced back. I think the biggest thing that they've needed is they've always had like the roster. Usually, they've always had like pretty good players, some big name players, but they've never been able to put it together with coaching and a culture. And I think the guy who's done it at now multiple levels is going to do that for them. I think Jim changes that culture. I think he's coming into a team that has, in my opinion, somehow the most underrated quarterback in the league. I know he's always in everybody's like top 5, 6 range, but I think Herbert is just that dude. And he's actually going to get a coach that can not only from experience of being a quarterback help him, but believe in him. And again, change that culture. I like them a lot. I think in the division, they only really have to worry about the Chiefs, in my opinion. The Raiders will be tough games. I think Denver is kind of like, they're in a rebuild right now, so I'm not worried about that. So I have the Justin Herbert-led Chargers as my sleeper team of the year. Excited to watch them. The new coach, again, led by, in my opinion, the coach of the year next year. I think they're going to do some big things and shock some people this year on a flip, going from last in the division to second.
I like the Chargers a lot this year. I love Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I'm a Harbaugh guy.
Yeah.
So his brother is the coach of my football team. He's been the coach for a while. And I liked him at Michigan. So I think he's definitely the perfect guy that the Chargers could have picked as a head coach.
Yeah. Winning, I mean, he won at Stanford. He won at Michigan. He won at San Francisco. And I think he's going to do the same. I don't think it's any different. He's taken all the talent and what he's had and turned either dead programs, what he did at Michigan, he turned that program around, changed the culture. He did the same thing at Stanford. He did the same thing for the 49ers, going all the way to the Super Bowl. So I don't know. I just like him a lot. I think that's what, again, the Chargers needed. I think they needed a little bit of a culture change, a set in stone guy who's going to, turn some things around and weed out the problems they've been having.
Sweet. What do you say we wrap this episode up with picking our Super Bowl winners for the 2024-2025 NFL season?
Yep. I think I'm learning how to be optimistic this year. I think that's one of my biggest things and hopeful. And even though they are like you said, high expectation team this year. I have the winner of the Super Bowl as the Detroit Lions. I think they break this long-awaited curse they've had of being terrible since, I think, the dawn of time, it feels like. And I think Jared Goff and the boys host a Lombardi this year. Go Lions.
I love Dan Campbell. Like every clip of him just talking to the media or something at practice is just like gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We're going to get it done, man.
That's a coach you want to play for and run through a wall for, probably.
He is. He has the fattest lip in of all time, no matter what. And he's just a football guy.
He's a guy.
Which I love. So I'm gonna pick my Super Bowl winner.
It's gonna be the motherfucking Ravens, baby. We're going to the Super Bowl.
No.
We're going to the Super Bowl.
He's picking the birds.
It's the Ravens. It's always been the Ravens. Lamar. He's gonna win a Super Bowl. I'm gonna get y'all a Super Bowl. Believe that it's gonna be happening this year.
He's going with the Ravens. I'm going with Detroit. We all know that the Ravens are just going to get bounced in the second round as usual after having a great regular season.
No, we're going to the Super Bowl. Derrick Henry, he's going to have 30 touches in the playoffs. We're just going to feed that man. We're not even going to pass the ball, actually. We're just going to feed Derrick Henry. That's what he was born to do, win a Super Bowl with the Ravens.
I'm excited. NFL's back.
The Ravens are winning the Super Bowl.
He's an idiot. We're both idiots. We know nothing about sports.
See that guy? That guy won a Super Bowl. He's actually the MVP of one.
I don't even know who that is. Who is it?
Who do you think that is?
I can't see. Oh, is it Ray Lewis?
Yes.
I can't see. Your screen's cut off.
Oh, my bad. The people can see.
The people can see. The people can see you're an idiot.
We are. I am.
I'm
we're still winning the Super Bowl.
All right. This is insane.
That has been the preseason look at the NFL. Morning Wood, it's been a pleasure and honor. We'll see you in 2 days on Thursday.
NFL's
First day.
back.
NFL's all the way back. We'll see you next time. Peace.